Yeah, I would have took credit for that if it was me. All right, so bell ringer 4 today. Describe Operation Torch. We came up with the invasion. What was the main objective of this invasion? There you go. You guys get working on this here. Move on today. Backtrack a little bit of time. That's okay.
We got 1 or 2 in the class so far.
I'll tell you after we're done with this, so I can after the recording, so I can scroll up then.
I don't know what to put it on.
Let me see here. 21. 20. This is the second one, I believe. Yeah, the second one. So you're still picking Scorpion? Yeah. It's a good pick. It's a real good pick.
I know at least 1.
Yeah. All right, so what do we have here? Troy, what do you got, buddy? Pac-Man.
Operation Torch was when the U.S. sent troops up through Africa that invade Italy.
Okay, all right. So this invasion into northern Africa, United States, Great Britain. Okay, this was the plan to try to set up a two-front war for Germany in the European theater. Decided, you know what, we're going to start off with North Africa first. Why did Eisenhower and Roosevelt decide that this was the best place to attack? Go ahead, Griffin. Okay, all right. So a new style of fighting here, right? There's going to be a new environment. Okay, and we know that Germany and Soviet Union are duking it out in the Eastern Front in Europe. And if we can maybe split up their forces and their supplies, their troops, you name it, right? This would help out the Allied powers. This would only help out the Soviet Union. Okay, good. Right, creating that two-front war. But why North Africa? Yeah, so new environment, good. Forney, go ahead.
They were attacking the soft underbelly, which was a much reduction.
All right, yeah, soft underbelly. Good job. Good job. So a lot of these areas were mostly occupied with French fighters, okay, of the Vichy France. And with that being said, they thought the United States and Great Britain, they even ordered their troops and soldiers, hey, don't fire until you're maybe even fired upon, okay? Only in retaliation, because they thought once the Allied powers were invading into North Africa that many of these troops and soldiers of the Axis, of Vichy France, they would just jump the sides, right? They just jump sides the Allied powers, that they'd just go along with it. And we know that this was a successful invasion. Okay, 3 different points in North Africa. And obviously, if we win this invasion here, we're eliminating some resources that are going to the Axis powers, and this will set up an invasion to Italy, right? Finally get some troops in the ground in southern Italy and in Europe, okay? All right, so Operation Torch, who came up with the plan? Troy, did you say? I don't know if you did you?
Eisenhower.
Yeah, Eisenhower. Good job. Good job. And many of the people in Great Britain, these citizens, were a little upset by this. Why? Why are they upset about this invasion in North Africa? Kiara, do you have your hand up? You're scratching your eye. Okay, Griffin, go ahead.
They thought that they should focus on them themselves, like the island of Britain.
Yeah, right. So they thought, you know what? Why are we sending troops and soldiers all the way down to North Africa? We need to protect ourselves. Okay. The Blitz was going on, right, since 1940. And this wouldn't be smart, right? If Germany would maybe invade the island of Great Britain, Churchill kind of knew that this probably wouldn't happen. So sent troops along with America to North Africa, right? And why did FDR think that this was the best place to attack North Africa? Griffin, you said the environment, that's for sure, but why else? Why else? Many of his advisors were saying, you know what, maybe attack Germany in the northern part of France. Start the D-Day invasion right off the bat. Okay, why North Africa? You think these troops and soldiers of America were prepared for this style of fighting? Forney? No. Okay, we haven't been in a war since World War One, and we know that was trench warfare. There's not too much when it came to planning and strategy, and new weapons obviously introduced in World War II. So we need to try to get our troops their feet wet a little bit, get them experience with this style of fighting to take on the German army, right? And this wouldn't be smart taking them on right away. So trying to get our feet wet a bit first, okay, against some Italian forces, some German forces as well, but mostly soldiers from Vichy France that were holding and occupying North Africa. All right, is there any questions on Operation Torch? So again, starting this invasion, North Africa, because we want to try to prepare our troops for this style of fighting. And this was the weakest point, the soft underbelly. Try to attack Germany Axis powers from the weakest part, rather than just going guns a-blazing into northern France. Okay, we decided to attack North Africa first. Mediterranean, right? Okay, any questions on that? You guys good? All right, vocab terms for today. There's 3 of them. So we have the Casablanca Conference. Ooh. Italian campaign and Operation Husky. There we go. There we go. You guys work on that for a bit.
What should be the last one we had?
What's that?
What should be the last one?
Montgomery. All right, so Casablanca Conference, what do we have here? Jeffrey, what do you got, buddy?
It was a conference held at the Afan Hotel in Casablanca, French Morocco, from January 14th to 24th in 1943. There was a strategy, the next phase of World War II, held by President Franklin D. Roosevelt and the British Prime Minister.
All right, good job. Good job. So meeting with Churchill and Roosevelt, try to talk about the next stages of this invasion into Europe. Okay, not yet the D-Day invasion, but moving into Italy. Okay, setting up this two-front war for Germany. Okay, Stalin was invited, but he couldn't make it. Why? Why do you think? Why couldn't he make it? Why couldn't he make it? Was he maybe preoccupied with something else? Forney, what do you think? Where? Where do you think? Okay, all right. So this is yet 1943, 1942 yet. So what battle was going on? Yeah, Stalingrad. Okay, Operation Barbarossa is still going on, and he had to focus on, obviously defending Soviet Union yet. So he couldn't make it to the conference, unfortunately. But this was, the Allied powers meeting Roosevelt and Churchill to talk about this invasion into southern Italy. Okay, moving up into Europe. All right, Italian campaign. What do you have? Kira, what do you have for the Italian campaign?
It was the liberation.
Yeah, liberation of Italy. Okay, when did that happen?
It was 1943.
Yeah, all right. So September 1943, Italy surrenders to the Allied powers, but all of it it was kind of divided up into two parts. Then northern Italy would continue to fight, and Mussolini would be supported by Germany, obviously, to try to defend it and make sure that they could push the Allied powers back a little bit, prevent them from getting into Germany. Right. So 1944, moving into 1945, even Italy would be eventually taken over by the Allied powers. But 1943, okay, they kind of go through a civil war in a way, and they surrendered to the Allied powers. All right. And we'll talk about that invasion a little bit more today. All right, so Operation Husky, what do we have? What do we got? Griffin, go ahead.
Allied invasion of Sicily.
Yeah, Allied invasion of Sicily. Where's Sicily at?
Island off the shore of Italy.
Yeah, right off the shore of Italy. Okay, obviously this is going to be a stepping stone. And Germany had a lot of, the Axis powers had a lot of air support there. Okay, control the Mediterranean, naval bases as well. And if the Allied powers can take Sicily, this will open up the waters, open up the airspace over the Mediterranean, allowing for the Allied powers to have control of that sea and utilize it, hopefully for an invasion, right? And then obviously target many of these areas in Germany, these industrial areas, these political areas, to try to destroy it and have strategic bombing on Germany. So very important that the Allied powers take this island. All right, so real quick, bring up a picture here for you guys. See if I can find it. There it is. Good stuff. All right, so moving on here today. I'll have a video for you towards the end of class, and that'll be it. No homework again. How cool is that for me? Yeah. All right, so we know North Africa. That is the first, I guess, say, fighting for the United States in the European theater. And again, Roosevelt thought this was the best decision for the U.S. Try to get their feet wet a little bit, get them experience with this new style of fighting, okay, and this new war. And we know Patton was involved, right? Okay, for the United States, and Montgomery, Great Britain. And who were they going up against mostly? Who were they going up against? Who was that general we talked about yesterday of Germany? What was his name? Shereen, go ahead. Yeah, Ern Rommel, right? Desert Fox. Okay, Desert Fox. And we talked about how North Africa was taken over by the Allied powers. We're pushing them out of North Africa. Again, benefits are limited to resources, and we're setting the stage for an invasion into Europe. Okay, finally we can maybe set up a two-front war into Europe. At this time yet, Soviets were still battling Germany in the Eastern Front. Stalingrad, obviously, still going on around this time. Okay, and we're seeing a turning point. The Soviets were finally gaining traction and pushing back the German army here. Okay, by 1942, 1943. Okay, and it looks like now we're trying to create a two-front war for Germany. All right, real quick. So what this looks like, okay, this invasion of Sicily and Italy and the Allied powers. Here's just a picture of the invasion points. So obviously, invading into Sicily, the Sicily's right here, guys. And Great Britain's going to be more involved with that invasion point. And at that time, a lot of the Axis powers were actually retreating, trying to move out of Sicily. Okay, and many people argue and say that the United States and Great Britain should have acted a little bit quicker to try to take this island, try to capture many of these supplies and armaments and soldiers on Sicily. And they said that we kind of maybe waited a little bit too long for it. But anyway, the United States will later plan their invasion more towards the capital, right, Rome, the center part of and the western shore of Italy. But Sicily mostly taken by Great Britain. Okay, they're invading into Sicily, and their hope and plan was to try to eliminate any type of air superiority that the Axis powers might have had on Sicily, and also naval ports, naval bases on Sicily. If they can do that, if they can control this island, this will obviously eliminate the, I guess you say, the stronghold the Axis powers had on the Mediterranean Sea. So why is it important to have control of the Mediterranean Sea? Why do you think, Troy? Why is it important to have control of the Mediterranean Sea?
Closer to the land.
All right, be closer to the land. Why else here, Griffin? What do you think? Yeah, right. So North Africa, this is going to set up this invasion, right? This help this Allied invasion more into the western coast of Italy, right? And that's what happened. So from Tunisia into Algeria, the United States set this invasion point on the west coast of Italy. And many people kind of forget about this invasion. Many people kind of forget about this front of the war. And again, this was first establishing that two-front war for Germany. So what does Germany now have to do to try to stop the Allied powers' advancement into southern Italy? What must they do? Troy, go ahead.
Send troops in Italy
Yeah, where were they fighting at before that, though?
with the Russians.
Yeah, the Eastern Front, right? So only what's that going to do to the Eastern Front against the Soviets? Troy, go ahead.
Weaken their defense.
Yeah, weaken them a little bit, right? So obviously this is going to anger Hitler, okay, and obviously have some resentment towards Mussolini. It's like, hey, hold your end up the bargain here, man. Okay, we need your help in defenses in southern Italy to stop the Allied advancement, stop this two-front war from happening. Okay, by September 8th, 1943, the United States, okay, and Great Britain are moving into the southern portion of Italy, and Italy surrenders. Okay, like I said, this creates almost like a civil war in Italy for a short bit of time until 1945. Okay, 1944, 1945. In the northern part of Italy, kind of closer up towards Germany, they will still have control, access control, and Mussolini will still have power. But for the most part, Italy surrenders, right? Surrenders. This is a successful invasion, and it takes a little bit of time, obviously, because the United States, again, we weren't really prepared for this war just yet. We're getting our feet wet still, and this invasion takes some time. Okay, it takes some resources, obviously, as well, and combating against the Luftwaffe up in the skies. And once this invasion was successful, this now shifts the tide a little bit even more. And this allows for the Allied powers to have more control in the skies above Germany and starting many of these bombing runs on many major cities and industrial areas throughout Germany, okay, which we'll talk a little bit more about tomorrow. Okay, a unique story, actually a local story. One of my history teachers, his father was in this Russelsheim Death March, which was pretty cool story. So I'll share that with you guys tomorrow. And it's pretty interesting. And it's really important, obviously, because local history, and he was one of the, I think, 2 survivors of this death march, of this event. He's from Klingerstown. Obviously, he's not around today anymore, but it's a pretty cool story. Anyway, I'll share that tomorrow. What's that?
One of the two.
One of the 2, yeah.
I don't have mine.
There's a squadron. I think there's. I gotta look back into it. I'll prepare more tomorrow. I think there's about 8, and they landed, and obviously they're saturation bombing on many targets throughout Germany, and they gathered up some of these people, and obviously destroying their homes, their neighborhoods, their towns. They're not going to treat these soldiers too well, and this death march, literally, that's what it was. And luckily, 2 of them got away, obviously, and they're prisoners of war, unfortunately, for a bit of time until it was liberated. But yeah, interesting story. So I'll talk about that tomorrow. Maybe Friday. How about Friday? Because I want to talk about the Tuskegee Airmen a little bit tomorrow. All right, so with, again, this invasion, okay, the successful invasion into southern Italy, and Rome being taken, Italy changes sides then by October 1943. Oh, they jumped ship. Go figure, Italy. Oh, man, jumping on the bandwagon. Right, Serene? Unbelievable. Jump sides once again. Oh, just like World War I. I guess that's what they're known for. What the heck? They're jumping up and down. Godzilla's coming. Look out. All right. So, again, with this invasion, one of the main, obviously, we're setting up a 2-front war in Europe. But another thing is that now the Allied powers have an advantage where we can maybe have control of the skies, put the Luftwaffe out of commission, and target many of these industrial areas in Germany. Okay, and obviously, it's unfortunate, but we do target many civilian areas as well with saturation bombing. So many civilian citizens die in Germany because of these bombings. Not like we try to do it, but obviously it happens in warfare. Okay. All right, is there any questions? You guys good with the invasion? Operation Husky, taking of Sicily, now the Allied powers having control of the Mediterranean Sea, moving into southern Europe, and now starting a 2-front war, easing up some tensions for the Soviets in the Eastern Front. Okay. It's looking pretty good now for the Allied powers by 1943, right, Forney? Yeah, turning point of war, Stalingrad, also setting up a 2-front war. Okay. Okay. All right, I have a short video for you. I'll end